Barcelona favourites to advance 7-10 on. Liverpool the outsiders 21-20. Steve, you pulled a face when he was talking.
That's not good. He didn't say a little fibre or, just a tweak. He said a tear. Mm-hmm. I mean, that puts a bit of... It's a different spin on it completely for me. I don't like the sound of that.
But he says he's going to play. He says, Bobby, it looks likely he's going to play.
Listen, when the press are talking to you as a coach, Dan, you really don't want to tell them the truth.
Right.
You're always trying to kind of cover things a little bit. And if he thought Bobby Firmino was going to play, he would have probably just said, look, he's got a wee knock, but it'll be fine.
Right.
But when you start going into detail and start using words tear, that scares me.
There's no such thing as a little tear when it comes to a muscle injury. Yeah. When there's a tear, and so therefore the only way to recover from that is rehab and rest and all these other things because you need the muscle to heal. I don't think the ideal situation for Liverpool is trying to have this muscle heal while in the semifinals of Champions League.
Sure.
That's not the way to recover from it.
If somebody gives you a deep bruise, it's now a matter of handling the pain.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the difference between a bruise and a tear. A tear, you can't play. You can't do it.
Paolo, who have you got going through in this one?
I've got Barcelona going through, but I certainly don't think it's a sure thing. I sort of always say when you get to this stage of the competition that timing becomes so important, having everyone in the best condition you can have them in, which is why, exactly as the guys have just been saying, with players as important as Firmino picking up an injury, we'll find out how serious an injury it is, but any kind of injury right this close to the game is incredibly frustrating for Liverpool. Meanwhile, of course, Barcelona get to leave Messi on the bench for most of their game, bring him on, get the win anyway, seal the league title, have that feel-good factor going into the game. It feels like little factors that can mean a lot at this stage of a long season. But yeah, I have Barcelona's favourites, but that doesn't mean at all that I think it's out of the question that Liverpool get through.
Meanwhile, Ajax are slight favourites now to advance the Champions League final. A big contributing factor to that is, of course, the growing list of injuries for Spurs. Just reminding, who won't be available. No Kane, no Winks. Sissoko is a major doubt. Lamela, Aurier out as well. And let's not forget, add to that as well, Son is suspended for the first leg. So Ajax favourites, is that fair, Paolo?
I don't know if I'd have Ajax's favourites go through. I think, again, it's a really tight tie. When I saw I guess not the draw, when I knew these two were playing each other, my instant reaction was that Tottenham are it's a good matchup for them, not because Ajax aren't brilliant, because they have been all tournament, but I think that Tottenham do what Ajax do well themselves and are better at finishing. Now, that's before you take into account, no Harry Kane and no Son in particular. I think that is a really sort of big loss for the first leg, and perhaps could prove sort of critical in the balance of the tie. But that's my feeling on it in general, is that Tottenham, unlike Juventus, are very well sort of positioned to say, okay, you're going to come forward, throw a lot at us, try and exploit those spaces between midfield and attack. Well, we'll just do it right back at you, because we've got players in Eriksen, in Ali, who can occupy the same sorts of spaces and I guess counter you. But yes, if you're missing Song and you're missing Kane, that does take a lot out of the attack right away.
I wonder if for Ajax, and Spurs for that matter, this matchup becomes a lot more complicated when they think of themselves as favorites.
Right.
It's all been very comfortable for both of them to be the underdog, to be the team that nobody's giving a chance to be the guys that are just, look, we're just going to give it our best and see what happens, right? Now there's an expectation, I think, for both clubs, that they have a real opportunity to make it to the final because of the draw that they have in front of them. Ajax looking at Spurs says, this team is beatable. And Spurs looking at Ajax will say, well, this team is beatable as well. Where does that take the game to Ajax, and where does that take the game to Spurs? Is the sort of feeling that now that we are considered to be favorites, now that we're considered to be a team that has a real opportunity to go to the final, does that change the way we approach it? And if we change it, does that take away the magic that we have up until this point?
Isn't it weird, right? You look at the Barcelona-Liverpool game and you're talking about fantastic teams. Who's going to win? This is so great. And then we're looking at the Champions League semi-final of Spurs and Ajax, and we're saying, who's going to bottle it first?
Right.
I mean, you talk about complete opposites, because that's what it feels like to me. Spurs, are they going to do a Spursy? because they should be favourites against Ajax. And are Ajax going to bottle it because all of a sudden they seem to be favourites?